Patrick McNeil back here with you at the intermission. We continue our Around the CHL series, this time looking at the East Division of the OHL, which contains the Oshawa Generals, the Peterborough Petes, Kingston Frontenacs, and the Hamilton Bulldogs, and the Ottawa 67s. And that is a team the man I'm speaking with is very familiar with, Kenny Walls, the play-by-play voice of the 67s. Kenny, tell us what the expectations were for the East Division this year. Thus far, we see Oshawa leading, Peterborough and Ottawa very much in the mix. Is that how things were expected to be?
All three teams were expected to be very good. Oshawa making moves last year to set themselves up for this year and the future, while still remaining a good team. Ottawa made moves last year to set themselves up for last year, which led to a trip to the OHL Championship Series. Well, Peterborough has been building for a little while, and this was looked to be a year where they're going to be taking that next step. It's all culminated to having three of the best teams in the entire OHL all in one division. It's been a lot of fun so far. There's been 4 matchups between the 67s, the Petes, and the Generals, Ottawa playing Peterborough twice and Oshawa once. They've all been very entertaining, low-scoring, tight hockey games.
When you look at the 3 teams I just mentioned, a lot of candidates for Team Canada, players that attended World Junior Camp in the summer. You have Sarah Noel, Florida draft pick, Alan McShane, a Montreal draft pick, both forwards from Oshawa, the Peterborough goaltender Hunter Jones, a draft pick of Minnesota, and Kevin Ball, a draft pick of Arizona on the Ottawa back end. Are they all legit candidates, do you think, to make Team Canada?
I really do. Sarah Noel, he's an Ottawa native as well. I've seen him a lot. He's just such a unique player. He had his size, 6'5", 210, 20 pounds. He can move, and when he is involved in the game and interested in really working at it, he can be one of the most dominant players in the OHL. It's that consistency factor that I'm sure the Panthers would love to see a step up in, and every NHL team wants their guys to be consistent because that's the name of the game. If you want to play in the NHL every day, that's where Sarah Noel comes in. He's an extremes guy. He can be one of the best players in the OHL, or you can be invisible on any given night. Alan McShane, I like him as a player. He's always done very well against the Ottawa 67s. He's the one guy out of the 4 that you mentioned that I don't think has the same sort of impact on Team Canada that the others do. Hunter Jones, in a lot of years, wouldn't get my vote for one of the guys who should be there, but because of the perceived or actual lack of depth in Canadian goal, I think that he may. He's done well this year. Having watched him for the last 3.5 years in the OHL, he's not one of the goaltenders that I'd say would inspire hope as the Canadian for that world-class junior-level goaltender, but he's good, and he can backstop a team to victories, as he's shown this year with 12 wins out of the first quarter of the year. Kevin Ball is, again, much like Sarah Noel, just that unicorn-type player. He's 6'7", glides around the ice, very smart player. Head coach Andre Tourney absolutely loves him, and having him as an assistant coach at the World Juniors isn't going to hurt. And he can be that shutdown guy. He can provide a little bit of offense as well, and he's got a great first pass. I don't see Kevin Ball not making the team. Out of the 4 that you mentioned, I think Kevin Ball could be one of the bigger locks to make that team just because he is such a unique player.
A couple of things I found interesting in the OHL East regarding marketing. Hamilton kind of playing up the ties with the Tiger Cats, with the Ticats themed uniforms. And I know Kingston has really been kind of amping up the Fort Frontenac motto, trying to build around a military theme, I guess. How familiar are you with those marketing ideas and anything else catching your eye off the ice in the division?
I love what Hamilton does. They had an Arthur Calia bobblehead night. They have a Harry Potter night. They're always trying to find new ideas because when you're based around Toronto in the OHL, you're not a big fish, and you have to find ways to involve your fans. When Hamilton won the OHL championship a couple of years ago, the fan support was fantastic. But like a majority of cities in Canada, they follow winners, and they want to be where it's cool to be seen. And at that time, Hamilton was. They've got to build that up. They have to build up their season ticket base, playing in the arena that was formerly known as the Cops Coliseum. It holds too many people for what the OHL is, and they're looking at building a new rink, and part of the drawing fans in and keep them there is providing that atmosphere, and I think they do a great job on the marketing side. The Frontenacs, I think they head in the other direction. I'm not a big fan of what they're doing. Their Fort Frontenac night or whatever it is, I think much like the CHL app, the concept is good, the execution is lousy. There needs to be a lot more thought that needs to go into it in order to make it a success. I think Kingston has one of the best rinks in the OHL. It's a perfect junior hockey rink, but they have not had the support that they need in order to establish themselves as one of the better franchises in the Ontario Hockey League. I don't think they've done enough. Peterborough has that fan base. It's getting a little bit older, but I don't feel like they need to do as much of the marketing side of things. The Generals, they have one of the best fan bases in the entire league. They get 4,000 a night. Their traditional Sunday evening 6:05 start is a hit amongst their crowd. They've done a great job. I don't think they have to play it up quite as much with the way that they've been able to establish their franchise. And the 67s, they've had Toonie Beer Nights, a couple of Friday nights, trying to attract a younger crowd. They've had Friends Night. They've had Dunder Mifflin Night in tribute of the officer. Some have worked better than others. They're trying to put themselves out there, and I think you have to continue to try until you find something that's really going to work and hit home.
And that was part one of our conversation with Kenny Walls looking at the OHL's East Division. We'll hear part two tomorrow night. You're listening to the intermission of Carstar, Cape Breton Eagles Hockey, 1270 CJCB.